better than our generation, but I'm quite clear in my mind that holding all factors constant, the younger generation is, in my view, even more dangerous to Africa.
Oh dear.
Because they have learned from the older generation. Remember the age-old saying that when mother cow is chewing cud, baby cow, namely the calf, is watching very keenly. The next generation of Africans is waiting for the opportunity to be thieves. And a recent survey in Kenya demonstrated that over 40% of young people think that there is nothing wrong with corruption. The only thing that they think is wrong is to be arrested, and that the only thing that you must do is to avoid being arrested. And I'm quite certain that if a survey were to be conducted in Nigeria, many young Nigerians would love to be in the opportunity, in the situation where they can steal. So that people condemn corruption sometimes not because they hate it, but because they themselves don't have the opportunity to be corrupt. It is not going to be easy, and going forward we must go back to the basics and ask ourselves as Africans what it is that we must do. And I think what we must do is to create a new African, an African who has integrity, an African who believes that there is honesty, and that can only be done if we punish the corrupt. Impunity is one of the problems. There is the story of one infamous Nigerian called James Ibori, who is now serving term in Nigeria, or rather in the United Kingdom. He could not be jailed here in Nigeria, and he is now jailed in the United Kingdom. In our own country, we have cases where people have been convicted and their money confiscated in the United Kingdom, but in our own country nothing is happening. In other words, there is a sense in which we in Africa condone and encourage thieves. And in any event, in many African countries, most of those who are elected into public office are thieves. And once you elect thieves into public office, then you can rest assured that nothing will happen when they occupy public office.
You're talking about rebirth here for Africa, because that seemed as if we have to go back to the basics. Once upon a time, people don't have thieves within the hamlets, communities, villages, and those who steal are ostracized. But today, I think it seems that those who pilfer the nation's wealth are extolled and taken to some other good places. How can these new breed of Africans be grown, since now they're watching the mother cow chew its cord?
You know, one of the things that we must ask ourselves as Africans is, what do we do with our education system? Is something wrong with our education system? Is something wrong with our value system? And we must go back to the basics. I remember a country, then a little country like Hong Kong, had a major problem with corruption. A decision was made by the political leadership that we had to clean up the system. And cleaning up the system meant looking at the electoral process. It meant looking at the education system. It meant looking at all the values of the society and re-engineering those. And once you're engineering those, then you create an environment where a new Nigerian who is honest and votary of integrity will emerge. A new Ghanaian, a new Kenyan, a new Zambian. It must be a question of going back to the basics. Because in our societies, we still respect people who work hard. If today, for example, somebody was a goat thief in rural Nigeria, he or she would not be respected. But the thief who is stealing billions from the Federal Reserve in Abuja is respected. In other words, if we steal money from national government, that is not condemned. But if we steal somebody's goat, we condemn that. We must, in the nature of things, make sure that the things of the 21st century and the things that we relate with our traditional lives are equated, and that a thief is a thief irrespective of what he or she steals.
How does the media come in here?
The media sometimes is complicit. There is a sense in which African media sometimes celebrates thieves. Sometimes it's deliberately, sometimes it is unwittingly. My own view is that the media has a duty to give the oxygen of publicity to men and women who say the right things. A program such as this is a useful program because it gives me the opportunity to highlight some of the things.
All right, Ebusian for Metia Obibiana, Mewiji say Obian so Ehoye. And then 1 hour with Munufie, it be streaming it from a different environment, from a different perspective, then streaming the best that will be able to me. I just say, and then idea, any Ajawankasa. Now, and there's any in Mensa Kaminia Eric Upuku, and the Yababe Uncomo, more na feed ye afeseni Ghana asetena etie. Now before we start an NPP I call more super delegates congress we and sending in era Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and becoming the first on the list on the Deacon Rennie, and then Kennedy Japan. Surprisingly, no ABT era Alan Kojo maintain Ebenya the second position, and Alan Kojo maintain Ebenya the third position. Then we discussing in I say NPP are buying there's a mobile more than and I say Amamu no muhu so and I so and I say we have the men. Do you think that these are the men? Then last on the list, era Dr. Kofi Konodo Aprekua, unya virtually 0%. And Tini na yebeka kan bumuna fide edidi enkomo na eda dwendwene yan kakra. Na answer na mama yenti president na Adanko Akufo-Addo. Yebisa na say president and Mr. President, ahwachire abagana na san na wadwen ye. Then secondly no, NPP for nipa 10 na then tanwo contest no, bi mu so support one candidate. Dear no correct anyone, or my NTA president and Adanko Akufo-Addo.
You're not convinced. Some say they are not convinced by the message. You're not convinced. You're not convinced. Some say they are not convinced by the message. They want you to walk the talk. But at the same time, there's some calling for me to endorse their candidates. There's some who are calling for me to endorse their candidates. I haven't endorsed anybody. The election is not mine. If I had, I would decide it. I don't decide it. It's the delegates in our party that decide it.
Mr. President, Ghanaians say they are not happy with the way conditions are. They are tired. They are suffering.
It's difficult. I'm the first to admit it. I've said it several times. I'm the first to admit it. But at the end of the day, I believe that when the moment comes, Ghanaians will reflect on who best can get us out of these difficulties and take us to the next stage. And that is the new patriotic party.
Thank you so much.
All right, NT President Nana Adanko Akufo-Addo response or the mind no. Now in another breath, no Bank of Ghana, SOK could see dying $250,000. Maybe say penny power Bank of Ghana on Pacho maintenance and so the mind.
Bank of Ghana committing to that project.
I don't have the figure offhand.
The figure for your headquarters?
I don't have a figure off my head, sir. That's what I'm saying.
$250 million. Are you committing $250 million to that project?
I don't have the full complement of the figures at this moment.
Mr. Randolph, you are the Director of Finance of the Bank of Ghana. This is a major project that will shake the balance book of every organization. You should have that figure of head. How much are you committing to your head office building? We know it is $250 million. Can you confirm that?
Well, say obo krono na yeche we say ya papa panyi we pe on say ono akasa katifo anyway yan fan say Eric na enumerate say
ami adom boko
we gidi say send ya okasa nyame adom boko de sana oboto mu so tie
David
yan fan say Ghana say Ghana for bebre na isu say ahokyera ba Ghana no kore ben ne was asem no say ahokyera ba Ghana ufi say no kore.
Of course, no credit. No credit because I can't remember. I said last week na a business be cement about cement. Na cement started with I think 30 cedis
per bag.
Na ye kofa. Wa kofa no 30 cedis na. When you say ensa na mfa say be 1 week time no masa increase. Inti obeton cement no bi a 45 cedis obeton be we no. E say kofa 5 cedis be so. Asa na wasan akofa nema foforo. Hanti ama I was say system no enshada enyina na na so.
Okay.
Ko adabechi yato water be mu, yato lad be mu, ya ni nyina na infect e wo so.
Na sise no so uti aban ya otiso ya ono so ne na pamfo nyina adwen se omo so dwuma mo bo no Ghana aban bie ni ma waba wabo sa dwuma ni bi da.
Tro. In fact, tro. Na me bisa me ho se na do nti. Se na do fra akonnwa no so a obetima tu na manfo for to say former president AGYAPONG because me former president I'm say owo nimdie bi a in fact me NDC ni but o fra akonnwa no so no na me praise no.
Okay.
But na do town no dey ntisa o. Omo dey chire o ye omo kro omo brese na ye.
Omo chire bata obi e tian so ma se na I say. Oh, ma se na be kan okre se di man no bi a chire
omo boa. Me nya sure say na do fra akonnwa so a obefra obi aturufo ama ndipa kora ati ase. Wan ho be kan say na okra na o ye dey chensa.
Edineza ho chire o Ghana na ya ho chire a so too much to the sense na do fra akonnwa no so kwa untimi ntu obi afo say.
Me nya sure say na do better before. Because president we there I say there on phobia ho.
Now one thing so say it seems Ghana for do na no feel like in the Japan style say ne utimi kana dwen no. Enti Eric o dey hwe in the Japan pe swagger in the Japan ko ba bi ye to ba na no aye to ba na fi dey we am build your topic from there. Enti yen ko hwe in the Japan ye hwe swagger nkasa ken e de ba ho na fi dey we ya to so.
Proceed and say
Eric was a candy payment ba. Can the Japan me feeling about can I sometimes I say na dwen ye adwuma say na ye wotimi to blows the ball his excellency John the money man or na sometimes that is the only problem about Ken. But all you know if he say Ken one of the best NPP photo man or far better Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and I say na wadwen
Oh, cool. Can in fact, me akasa me feeling no. So me fa me call NPP pa de anka. Can dey obey me fan.
Okay.
Yeah, go can no or can asema or can with proof. Or can all yeah no na or can. Sometimes in any na e genuine there but me team say can there or ye popular.
Okay.
Maybe MPP for better ati anka omuntu aba making.
Okay. Na sene omode ahokyere ba Ghana na anasa ahokyere wo Ghana no. Ufi say NPP for kofa Ken Japan ba obetime make any difference e wo Ghana your system no.
In fact me ka say obese system na because Ghana no say dey bia you fight with corruption but on say some people na fight with corruption. But what they adane shannon sa ontiminye ena me one you be say oti akira ohun ni different.
Okay.
O wa adwene o plan bebre but say the position ma wa me sure say nkrofo bi ti akira omo chinchimu nti wo pese wo kra de no kra na me nya sure say o enye but say
office adwene na mpanyifo ndodo na eni ana office obi na ti ba be chinchimu because omo nanado yetisika so come there ye mobododo eme gba omi ama ye Bank of Ghana sika no ha ye nkobo bosan office nimdie na omuni ana say omo fa timamufo no say ye adwen wo fom nti na omo tumfutu gu ye ni ana say obi na ti ba bi echinchimu
Nimidie de oho. Kase nimidie ni ho ana meboa.
Okay.
Ba obi ti ba bia ono ni botom ntino. O ka che say ye say na wa anya in fact anhwe wa no do no bebo. No mpanyufo na omo nimidie o. O hwa kin say ya ono wa tena bro kira nti onim say de abrocha environment tie.
Hello. Right. Zaka Fosu Gideon so line so ya yan fan kan on. Gideon, what mean ka? Gideon, what mean ka?
Hello.
What mean ka? Gideon, what mean ka? Hello, Gideon. All right, I think say Gideon line no anti men nyina so nko no so fa na adwen kire mra na ye hu se ne Eric ka say Eric adwen ni say mpanyifo no adwen no wo ho but abro e na o ma sheda say o person be boa team amuni no
ono odwen botom nko a.
Okay. Enti ye fa te say maame abrewa o nko team ko fa over $1 million de ko share pass ya bra ono nim so ono sika no ontimi ni nyane fe
hu ni say edrumra bi na omo say omo eti kwan ho tonton dollar ne we black market for no omo na ama dollar le shoot nti ye me kai techimai say ombe cheche na even ye techimai kura am cheche omo na omo ye sa aduma no meanwhile no now sa wo ma me no what keep say scan no
them
over billions egu them
also ye minister
na obira ono na betena kwan ho na at the end of the day onye sika kakra no akohwe ne yere ne ma mo se ono na ese o man no ntimo ache no ba ma mi we ye hunu sika wone dem no obi anya de hwe.
Okay, isi asem no Ghana ni bi akra ni ba bi asem no
kra wo
akwaduru bi no ane se yere na ho na afi the special prosecutor asem dey court attorney general say obi ehunu ne obeye Gideon asa balance so Gideon obi aboko de
nyame adom me ho ye pa.
All right, NPP akoto abana wie ama yese Irwell Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia edikan Ken out of the second na surprisingly Alan Chairman no fi say oye popular dey duru me so no say ya duru me so no aten yakoye ade fufuru bi say na wadwen ye.
Okay, me da wa se me chia edom empempem a ATU enanwumre so.
Okay.
Techimai south of for me chia obi bia NDC fo nyina ATU me chia obi a. Well, anwumre die yesenka ochiami patabon tentokwa obuada.
No correct.
It answer MPP munanka semaba na me NDC ni anka me penku ni madidie enka wonse me ka bi. And so a bread rule say they need serious people ama omo occupy political offices now. A baby akwa koja anasa wasaboni bi na ye twa oman no ebedia mia e wo saa decision a ya take no ho. Now obia nim say they say now you can't say bad people and I say nipa bonfo e wo fans bebre no and I say bad news esele no abato ya MPP foko ye ma yahu say e no correct trudo.
Okay,
it can say mampanyin na do danko akufuado ne Mahmoud Bawumia ene afriye akoto former great minister ene wona aka nyina ye cabinet a wo mo take decision e de mo man ni pato ntesa
sabe pepe
mo na senka nsuo nko ame a nka gra nka e monka wa o enti se omo wo nyansa bi sebe e wo mu tirimu a nka o man no ntete mpansam se de asiti apansam enei
dabi
enti no senka ye ko abato so ne yakoyi a nka Ghana fo ehwehwe se e bia MPP fo be yi obi a sebe animunyam kakra ebata na ho a yenim se woni de betimi aba be korakora enema a ahwe agui na se ya na omode ba de a na o mabuga na fo abra yensin
exactly
bo omo ya bo ya abra yensin ne nesen da no me di kan o mabokoro no bebre na yene Mahmoud Bawumia ene bokoro no nti kwan bia so a ye befa so a ye de betwitwa Aji Bawumia mana di nkunim no no so abebo ye ho ban eno ne agenda MPP for asset a omugu so a omode ekoye nim sesei no.
Okay,
Na saabia no so ya ade bi a emmoa oman puntuo ene ne nkekireye etwinyen de yen san akire se ye behwa Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ba no ye mu bi e kan sem bebre fa ne ho se enya de a wo betimi ye adwuma no
no correct
NPP for egitwi kire de kokoto abama no te na anu ada o masen ya akoto ama Mahmoud Bawumia
sir
we say NPP delegates seven preduasa we have the men no na say delegate we and a senior delegate or more to special vote in the NPP Ghana you need future because they are supposed to know better sananke bekano
okay
nanka omono decision be taking etimbe bua ema ye hu say yes anim before na se mpanyimfo na asisa agina ye we na se ne enkoye na ye kwa akohye ne made a Many many be adwen etise bi fufu a anyinya na NPP for aka ne hye Air Force Ghana for the amaye say yenkonkodi
okay
na said ye ni da we die enya de a ye bedi sa fufu no da bia rada
there be
etimesre communal labor 2024 election no NPP approve ya kire nse omunni bibi papa bia ye de mayen nti yankeke omo entontwene na o ma menko election no proper ankasa so
okay
Yenina hu basa ya ekoko so yekrom techima ABC wo Bamiri Community Center. Regional organizer any youth organizer bi class ya twede to nyina ewom. Ese MPP ekwa ye se nya basa ya na se yekata abato a ne omunim wo mu ane basa ye. Because of say mampani na Danko Akufo-Addo enam so ema amanfo hwere wo mo nkwansa na wo bedi mempanyi that is 2020 election
yes
and the MPP for nyina hu say ye betimi adi nkunim dia this yetimi break security ne ye de basa ye bam ansana yetimi anya eno na ma ye hu ne na ekokoso no
yes
because sabe previansa okomfo a okoma wo meme na sekan no se ne ma eja won nan na se moja wo ma enya de a enwanwa
there be
mampanyi na nkasa kumnipa ena odi bedi ade Techimai South a wuye program ifri Techimai 4 enya mu share nipa 9 ye bo mutuo ekun wo mo e wo Techimai na me ne wo kasai wo mo nka tiasefo ehu biem enti se enne saa mampanyi na wo kum nipa na okode e wo se enya obi a wono so timi de basa ye ba nti Bawumia eho mpopo ye na wada nadi Kennedy na chitafo anase ni agent victim Alanchramantin achitafo ebinum victim.
Exactly.
So it show clear say yahu baby a basa ye no efri ba aye yewura Mahmoud Bawumia na kache na saade ne firi. Enti enya me nwanwa bebre because Akufo-Addo campaign the man na Bawumia se wo mrade a ne bonni na wono timi ye te se wo kum nipa election mu basa do order die and o se ase no was about me at me yet, basa na de trana nado because what they see be na said the account. Tisade no ena dead in na battle ya mukoto ya ne de ni bu as fem time. I was say shegan ni bia kutupa ma wo sorry baby a wo bia. Na wan kasa wo ye campaign, wan kasa wo ye wo communicator. Ye di kwa ko save on my way. I was say a kotoa ba ye probe in na ye hwe nipa na wo ba no ye hyehyɛ ya wo de ba but mpempi minia mpato temenka
betepa
aha mpempi no so ya ye ka se nsu a ye di kodum gya de ye nhwe ne feo
no kre
MPP di gya na ato Ghana ma e dere to nti candidate a NDC beji na babia no minim se wo ye nsu a ye di kwa kodum gya obetima dum gya no we sumpo de ye twafufuo ma na tonkwan mu ye de aye bia for John Dramani Mahama na eba John Dramani Mahama we sia mpuntudwuma John Dramani Mahama oba nkoso ye die ahobambo eda na koma so nti etimi ba amanfo asetena mu no ono na NDC fu akoyi no nti communal labor obi an lazy ni boot ne yankom monten so ne yanko cancel pa no efa John Dramani Mahama ne NDC hu said be ya ye betimi ede about the doom sawe
na Gideon when I'm ready ma me bisa question we na do down kwa ibisa no say candidates na nipa 10 no clear or support back na say enye no kre what do you make of those comments na do making
I won't say nipa wada mpempi metaka say obi a wo twa pase wada se wunyane na wo bre because onaye na wo force ne ho se wada nti wunyane na wo nsori wahu ye nyina nim se mampanyi na na danko akufo ado eka kire Ghana for se on hande power na se on fatumi ma obi a wanya NPP ni nti wo de ye nyina na num asem so ne ye nhwe se support obi a na se on support obi ono an make his statement no afei so abato ya ye call ya anase na anu ada omokoto ye na ono ankasa ye delegate a woto aba ni bi
exactly
na okọ ye no so okokastin vote
so definitely
otoma obi tell ye hu ni otoma no ye no masuko no ye hwe otowie ye no ena nsentwerofo opinion no say mampanyi Ghana for say oman no ma ye den na wadi wo mu hwammo enema nkoye wase ewom se nneema nkoye de na leaders foforo a ebeba no ebeba besiesie nneema ye na chese de wokoto ma no leader no so MPP photo abai obvious why the lead this election no
yes
if you say fan from this angle mampanyi ka che say baumia ebeba aba be solve problem no
exactly
and also na medical ka kire wo no
all right Mate Gideon, I think say also mission here very very good. Team we GD say menya was set issue one of these days na fi dey akehwem komo. Nti me da for so Gideon was pass oba life na
so me da was say.
Me na she program ya sisa ya yes dey ekoye nim. Na some bebre ho Gideon kan I think say ye be ba me Eric ba be che sa adwena rade. Say Nanado dankwa say on the on support to be yet no. Some comments will make here and as a name be an Nanado ye na man I clear say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na Nanado a support no. But the question is say, Eric, what if you say send Nanado na Mahmoud Bawumia na say agora na say. O ma be die konya Nanado e buy na on Mahmoud Bawumia sha say 7 years ni. Ba bi o ma de Ghana apemaduru no. Ufi say Mahmoud Bawumia be ye leader and as Nyankopon pangu tin be president of Ghana, obetima sesa nema ama nema akonani.
Menya sure Bawumia say baby a ojan jina no hona no basu jina
sa
na o hwede na ado ababa yamba yi pa na o de power baba she Bawumia se so be sesa na kwan be so
abra wona no so na sha
ona na sha ase
nti wa adwen bi a wotimi de masa nipa no so onfanse
sa de no
wona head of the economic management team
we say they be a make about MPP for na ado am say offer timamu for no say sebi ya Jimmy.
Yes.
Ultimate can't assemble anyhow. Because I don't know what started 4 years or 4 years and I ended. What's I shall see be when you're almost when I'm saying 8 years in a wucha. I grow better if I know Pope.
Yes.
Not I agree. I don't know. In fact, another one I can't some for you now. This is a politics, you know. Timamu phone who nyansaba
exactly
awo who nyansaba
exactly
mesrano on some person from a country
abuza for program here 1 hour with Munufie na me Eric Poku and twetwem komo no yedi komo about Ghana numbers na dey adwuma na 0508117781 me say sisubiem 0508117781 so na maybe pesti comment bi this person join the show no live and so click on the link now we do this as I will just see you on the backstage in a video baba live no on the show until Sunday when the program here 1 hour with Munufie to send no every day biana we try to stream 1 hour of our time and then the program here free 1 hour with Munufie live on Facebook and 1 hour with Munufie live on YouTube and NDC Techman of Youth Wing so FR program no live until I think say BBA okay but I believe say be sound no okay say be one sound na okay mawa ubetime akana afide say best shift sound na kakara na say be ni bibia na afide ehun say obia ho na mamenkan comment na aba na kakra na afide emfa bi ento aso abena kwedu or say the caller is saying the real truth. I think that the caller and say you are referring to for Gideon. I think that is the point. Samsona cross the night and said negative People's Party NPP. NPP D from my negative People's Party. Semo. Sana Many are quay do. So someone who declares war. Are you serious, Eric? Didn't say Eric? Or send you
I'm praise the Ken.
Because you'll be declare war now. War against a Ken. Between Bayer at the paper be am I? Or sign the paper by and say Ken has never proven any difficult document with anything he comes out with. And since me are arguing with Ken, can be an idea. Kind of Eric. Almost say Ken in yes and probably our Kenti. Pressing now, pressing Ken the Japan. I think say and yeah, correct. In seminar, be now. I mean, Joseph, a selfie so be able to minia. All right, so my new dinner, yes, Anna Eric Kumsin. Isa Abdul Ralph, and so also over here life. Wisdom Tete and Tete Abraham, so when you know here life. For so Gideon, when I add the scene, and so say or move follow a life. You know, yeah, that Obibia say when I'm now here. Program here 1 hour with Munufie and tea, yeah, twice on every day. I hear command, I say. Baby a Ghana before under His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Ebe peki Ghana free ya ode Ghana bedru asay Ghana bedru eneno. I was surprised that I met somebody who told me recently say in fact Oti Ghana na milk pipe and milk onon bi no open over 7 years in onon milk that. So it means nema essay e Ghana because setima money bit was say ono common milk kwa no ntimi no bia a problem in the society. So na ubedu Ghana kwan nyina tutu Ghana kwan nyina say that is a complaint that Ghana for na edema and we be getting those kind of feedback and say Ghana kwan nyina say but it seems that Abano has no idea say obekura kwan and I say baby be our Ghana until now the car mo be Ghana kwan acha 3 months kwan be say car no and that is the problem at Ghana for na ekum enti Eric to send ya o sha say no ahokyere na aban we asheda or something like that e dey beto Ghana so no ufi say momo another 8 years say no more can breaking the 8 na no crazy meet my fix say ahokyere we say
no never yes and the power no show me say e be kunkum ye ba na ya do na adi
yes Ghana ni be nice sleep
yeah mesa me ka kire obi bia o tie say NPP for on be chim ye nsa gu yachi na so ma di kan ye bi ye hu
the last 7 years in the baby
7 years
obi our pick cement as 27 cities in the cement bag is
and the cement I think say 85 or so
just imagine this it means amamu no omunni amamu no bu anase say na okan no e obi na ti ba bi chinchi momo say mo nchim ti momo for na sebi o e dey mesro e bi as NPP for Ghana for omunnim nyansa nti mo nchim mo adwen na afide mo shift mo this kind of thing
say na me first me get kind NPP for who say yeah ti me for in fact yeah Jimmy
adwen no form
ana who say yeah kan mo asem say obi a sebi ade akye a even onya 10 city kura amfa nto bibi ni no sani pa na be san be didi atem ba ye fat na ye ka se wo ye fat e na ye ka nipa na ya ade na sa anye ya even ye nyina ye hu nya sa anye ye the NPP fo ye wo so ma ye kwana na ado ko 2 kwa yi say ya ye Ghana kwan nyina he we fa
also quite over 10,000 kilometers.
I would rather jam What's he? As I can allow Lalado, no, you'll be. In fact, he seems to be funny.
Yes.
I say, I'm a mono and shut down fan of what the dear groby.
Yes.
Oh, we want to a cast as a witch, I bring so yet to high and 2 coin. Now you see who's on my coin be a first and now so for a crowd by from a crowd to Kumazu, who say. And yet, highway, a highway across to Burkina, Togo, and yet,
but it seems to send a kind of buying them for home. And now, what's I the Ghana for? So saying, Idia go to say, Abiana, Albanico who say Ghana for our game of form.
Officer, I'll say for Sue Gideon, next of my kind, in fact, I'll make it sense, baby, because Nanado. O ka say e bia o aba okoto wo angasa okoto aba o si minyina obi achi ene ja aba no to e ahunu ti sa tro na o de didi sama ne Ghana pe patro bia koduru is it patro about 13 cities also
yeah hosem Hosam. Intino, Timamufo no more Ghana no, waiting to share more ideas. Ama Ghana ni bi answer over Biana at one can who say, no cressa a hotono about my normal is able to know what or Srebanya and other down panes or country. It was a while what to know.
Was a so,
yes.
So, yes, Americano. Obi o ha, to say, Kruma say, my target, my target crop will say, politics. I have obi no nya kapre kura ntu no botom because ade ne nya kura o se ye
yes
ye nyina ye te ha irim se ade nye o se ye edisari pa no obewu no ni hwe
yes
because say wo ka ade ne nye
no obi ahu so obi o moa o de aboa wo
ba wo se ye
o ho kire wo o zo se ye
ahunu na in fact on say timamufo no eni ntina ama mpanyimfo no bebre hu se ye gimi no because ya wase na ye hu se aho kire wo ho no ya na ye say defend mpanyimfo no mu di yabro
yes
so
well anyway send Eric Kano aho kire ndie wa wo Ghana bia utimi hwe by now obetimi comment ama yin de hu aho kire dodo a wo mu ana sa hwe later so I will comment ba eno so ye be sen ato bo na afi de ya ba be bobo mu na ya hwe na send America in the program 1 hour with Munufie nti every day bia na you try say you be stream it live on 1 hour with Munufie. So I hope so join you on WhatsApp line 050-811-7781. Nti Obia send message said the president for Ronaldo na dey just fantasy for him. Nti I think say Ronaldo dey honestly wabroni e dey amamu no ba bi dia agro e na mo say Ghana for na dwen okom to mo goro Ghana for no sa na I think say omaye bibia. Nti Eric enne ebia ochina wo ho ide me so say ibetime asan ato aso na ye de another program about ochina de na ebe yan say nipa 5 na oma qualify for NPP the next stage na e ko yi 1 na wa be so na ho de ne His Excellency John Dramani Mahama betime akope no e be pick say nipa 5 no ko na fi de ye dutu omumu na ya pese no kore say omutime bo adwuma yi ometime bo adwuma yi o ma ho de no sen na ho de say ahoɔden ebetime asesa Ghana asachara Ghana for asetena mu ama Ghana enya ne papa afiri a nyame ya adoma ochina sai program na ebe ye enti abusuafo enne ye de 1 hour with Munufie no ebesi ewo ha na nyame ya adom no de adomdom ya ebi ochina ebesen aba Eric lepacho wo asemfufo bi kan betime de
asema me wa kan say Ghana edin in fact obia nya sinzie say Ghana edin na moma yen kan kire mpanyimfo no wo ma panyimu bi ma 100 series 50 series na okojina na chi say Ghana nya din a in fact 50 series kra nto hwe
yes
o sa o ko ba kan say Ghana nya din a na say ya na ye pe ha no ma ye ho
yes
enti misra obia Ghana edin atin say bia ono na na do kwa na wapeja no bag nkwa na bia on here no nkwan
ana say we say we brunyi no office na na go Ghana for papa bia and you wetimi aka say
but don't forget say woody no na wo ha wonu abi so wa kire enti misra obia na omo follow 1 hour with Munufie so omo nkoso na omo follow na omo benya ensempapa e wa ha say che obia
all right nti abusuafo send Eric kan no mechia obia na wow Ghana so if you ahoche no feel hit no you can just join on the stream maybe tomorrow na fi the nipa 5 na omayo madwen say omane His Excellency na adodankwa Akufo-Addo koi omane ba be take position no na omadwen mu no omo ahode say obetime ne John Dramani Mahama akọ contest ama Ghana fo anya hotopa no china ebedu so say nipa 5 na omahode mu na fi the edubia profile ba beto ho na yabobom enti anyumre machia me amenipa Farouk Samunso Farouk nyame ya adoma wo chena me no bekasa na afide pese obituma join the live on the show send the bia we no enti me cha obi bia me ma obi bia so adwo e program so ti bye bye